to sing, she loves anything. Let's go! She loves to move, she loves to groove, she loves to love everything. All night, oh, every night. So hold tight, oh baby, hold tight. She said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it, yeah. She said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Ow! I was alone, I never knew what good love could do. Ooh, then we touched and we sang about love and things. All night, what? Ow, so what do? Ow, baby, hold tight. She said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Ow, she said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Yeah, Billy!
Ladies and gentlemen, loud and Swain.
And let me make this official. Good people of New Orleans and the surrounding counties, a big southern welcome to Mr. Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
Before you leave, we have a little custom here in New Orleans. Who that? Who that? Who that think they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that think they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that think they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that think they gonna beat them Saints? Yeah!
Jensen, I don't want to say that Stephen was disrespecting you. I would never. But every time you put, who's going to beat them Saints, he'd go, Bears. Just
Packers. But
yeah, as a Packers fan, I think he was struggling with whether or not he should play along.
You should be happy. The Bears lost.
That's true. That's true.
All right, boys, have at it.
Hi, guys. Hi, y'all.
How many folks from New Orleans do we have in the house here? All right.
So nobody? Nobody?
See, y'all feel me. Y'all get what I was saying. Well, it's great to be here. Love this town. Hey, come on now. And yeah, we're super stoked to be here. This is our first convention in New Orleans, and thank you for making it a very successful one.
This is my it's my first time in New Orleans, and I gotta say I love the city, but the city hates me. It killed my phone. Not a word of a lie. I started walking, and I was like, oh, I was gonna meet a buddy, and I start walking to where he is. And I'm GPS tracking it, and then I look down at my phone. I'm on Bourbon Street, headphones in, and kind of blasting through. Yeah, I saw a lot more of it than I expected because my phone went out and it's like searching. I was like, all right, maybe I'm in a hiccup spot or whatever. Keep going, and then no service. And I'm seeing hotels to the left and right. I'm sure I can go in and use Wi-Fi, but I'm like, it'll reset. So I turn it off, turn it back on, searching, no service. Airplane mode off, back on, turn it off, back on. finally I see a bar that has like free Wi-Fi and like a college backpacker. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going there. Which I could have just probably paid $5 for Wi-Fi somewhere. So I go in and turn it on. My buddy had already left and gone back to his hotel. He's like, oh, we didn't hear from you guys. I was like, well, guys, my phone's been dead for an hour. But I got to remember what it was like to walk around a city before little phone gadgets existed. So I was able to put my headphones on and kind of see a lot more of the city than I probably would have. So I'm still a fan of New Orleans.
And how long were you at that bar by yourself?
Well, I was quickly joined. There were some Supernatural fans. I actually had somebody say to me, oh, you're dressed up like Sam Winchester Supernatural. On my life. And I go, oh, no, I was like, no, I am the guy. She goes, oh, all right. Well, do you like dress like him too? I was like, I'm wearing a shirt and a jacket. It's cold outside. She's like, yeah, we all wear that stuff on the show. She was totally unimpressed. Like, as soon as she found out, at first she was like, cool costume.
Oh, that's a really cool Halloween costume. Oh, it's you? Oh.
Douche. She's like, who dresses up as himself? I was like, I'm going to go to the next place. Yeah, so I totally got mad dogged, like on Decatur and something else. Anyways, like I said, still love the city. Woke up this morning, my phone was still dead, still broken, still no service. So.
And it's been the greatest 24 hours of your life.
It has been. Ain't nothing I can do. All right. Who's first time, by the way? I love this. Awesome. Welcome to our big, crazy, dysfunctional, awesome family. Happy to have y'all here.
That it is.
All right. It's been amazing. Awesome. I like that. At first I thought she said it's been effacing. And I was like, she's in labor? My ears don't work too good. Let's go ahead and start with some questions. Hi there.
Hi, my name's Nicole.
I'm Jared.
Nice to meet you again.
That's Jensen.
Hi. I didn't know that. But, so we all know that you guys are big pranksters on the sets, and since Jack's a new character, what are some pranks that you have pulled on him?
Not so much pranks specifically, but just really trying to break him, a la Misha. So much so that when we finally all worked together, Misha was so relieved that there was somebody else to be our victim as opposed to just him. Yeah, I think, so we talked to Phil Segrisha, who does all the gag reels, and apparently there's going to be a whole spliced together scene of Alexander's sort of initiation, his hazing. And I think we've been begging for years for a super long gag reel because there are hours and hours of gags. So hopefully they,
I don't know if I'd call it hazing so much as
torture?
A welcome package.
Okay.
That works too.
Thank you.
You should see some of the gag reel.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Let's just say that it's the first time that they've actually had to wrap Jared and myself for the day just in order to get another person's coverage. And it was simply in an effort to get us off the set because the other person could not perform with us present.
And hopefully Alex starts coming and visiting you guys here. He's going to have some good stories because also this is, I think, his first series regular gig. He's been on a lot of the shows on CW. He's worked, but he was so mortified because all of his takes, we'd make him laugh. And he's like, they're going to see this. I'm never going to work again. Like this is, and we're like, don't worry. All of your bosses know that we're assholes. So, just don't. Yeah, let's hear it for assholes. Woo!
Hey there.
Hi, my name's Kelly, and
Jared.
my mom got drafted to come with me at the last minute, and could y'all say hi to her? She thinks y'all are adorable.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
It's out there.
Hi, Kelly's mom. Where's Kelly's mom? Oh, hi, it's Kelly's mom.
I'm trying to turn her into a convert, and that'll probably do it. So if knowing what you know now about the show, you couldn't have auditioned for any one of the lead roles, but had to audition for...
You mean Sam or Dean?
Or Cass, or Crowley.
I thought you said lead roles.
Semi-lead roles. Okay, lead and lead supporting?
Lead supporting. Right.
But you
I think those come in boxer briefs, too.
But you had to audition for one of the supernatural creatures. What creature would you have wanted to audition for, and what twist would you have put on it to try to get the role?
I'll say this. Misha has the best job in show business. Some people still think he's a lead, and he's worked like 3 days this year. So...
Well, let's take last episode, for example. I mean, did you see the presence that he had in that episode? He woke up in a black room. That was it.
That was actually just like his Nest Cam footage from his house. He sleeps in his cast.
That's his bedroom.
And they visual effected away all the toys. I mean, like Ninja Turtles, Transformers.
Right. His kids' toys. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, so he didn't even come to work for that. But we'll see him. We'll be like, hey, dude, what'd you do this weekend? He's like, which weekend? I haven't seen you guys in 6 weeks. You're like, oh, well, I guess I don't care then. Like, get back to your chair. So I'd have to say Cass. And I would play him as a not weirdo. Just a little twist.
I think she said what creature, but that actually works.
He's an angel.
Yeah, that works. What creature? I think I would like to play...
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Right? Right?
One of the toys?
I don't know. No. Donatello?
Oh, yeah, I guess you could, yeah.
I don't know.
I stumped you?
What's that?
I stumped you?
No, I mean, you know, I'm trying to think. I'm like, vampire. Oh, no, been that.
Demon Dean, yeah.
I've, you know, like, I think I've, a demon. Nope, been that. So, I don't know. A Wendigo. Because I'd be taller than this guy.
I'd be so much better. Sam, there's a Wendigo. I don't know, dude. That's a really short Wendigo.
And there's your twist. Thanks.
Or, thank you. I was saying, or we could play a shapeshifter and then just make sure we're in one scene every episode. Then we shapeshift into somebody else, so we still get paid for the episode, though only having to work one episode because we've shifted shapes into another shapeshifting.
Stop talking.
Shift. But
Abort.
then you shift, and then you're
Pull up.
like, oh, I shift myself.
Oh, I just shift myself again.
Excuse me, shapeshifter, I think you just shift yourself. I shifted my...
I'm so sorry, New Orleans. You deserve better than this.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
How's that for Stockholm Syndrome? No, we don't. Hit us some more. I'm no rocket Scientologist, but how are you?
I'm well.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
My name is Regina, and I'm from Louisiana. And I want to thank both of you for all the charity work you do, especially most recently with the hurricanes. And just so you know, I was shouting to the Who's Out song, of course. I was shouting with you to the Who Dat song. Who dat, who dat, who dat, say.
Yep, who dat.
Okay.
Sorry, it's an echo.
Okay. Real quick, this is my question. I'd like Dean to answer first because it's kind of toward him.
Which Dean? The short one or Gilmore Girls?
On the show, Dean does not care for Jack. But I want to know where Jensen sees the character going and whether Jensen thinks that Jack could be good.
We talked about this a little bit in the meet and greet, just where Dean is this season. And he's in a bit of a turbulent emotional state. He's going through a wide variety of emotions at this point. And I think you caught a lot of that in the last episode when Dean was talking to Sam and got heated and talked about Cass's death and Mom being gone and how much anger is welling up inside, which is, as we know, a step in grieving. And so I think that at this point, he's just knee-jerk reactioning to the Jack situation in the sense that it's just sheer rejection. There's no way he can be good because of what he is. And he's just kind of seeing red when it comes to that. Jensen, I'll speak as Jensen now.
It's nice to be here. Hi, guys.
I appreciate the question. It's because we're now ahead of what you guys have seen. We're on episode 10. You will see a transition happen with Dean in regards to the Jack situation, and so I think it won't uncomplicate things, but it'll answer some questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you both.
Hi, my name is Sarah. My question is for you, Jensen.
I'm just going to sit in the audience.
In season 10, the finale, what was your state of mind when you were destroying that motel room? Do you have to think something really angry to be that pissed
No,
off?
they said, hey, guess what? You get to destroy things today. You know how cathartic that is for anything that's going on in my life? It's awesome. Yeah, what about, no, that wasn't 12. Way back when, no. Oh, I thought, and this was a hard one to do. I was a little conflicted about it, but when I got into it, it was awesome when I took the crowbar to the back of the Impala. I know. I read that and I was like, no. And then, I don't know. There's something about dismantling things with your bare hands. And so, yeah, when the crazy part about the hotel room was we did 2 takes. And I had to match what I did in the first take for continuity purposes. And I believe at one point, I was walking towards the camera and I threw something that hit, this is what it was. For scheduling purposes, they had to film the aftermath of that hotel room being
messed up when somebody shows up to see it like that. They had to shoot that first, which means now I had to match what the set design people created for the the messed up hotel room. So we kind of mapped it out, and we were like, okay, first I got to do this one, and then I got to go over here, and I got to destroy the TV, and then I got to do this, and I got to do that. Well, if you go back and look, they had for some reason just taken the picture frame on the wall and just shifted it like this. Not kidding.
Sebastian stuff.
No, like, and from me to Norton, and I just threw something behind me, and it hit the wall, and the picture frame goes. And the whole crew was like, oh!
I think it would have been.
He is the one.
I think it would have been. That's amazing. However, it would have been so much better to see you like, and kicking over desks.
And then. Yes, that would have been more comical, but yes, that was obviously I had to ramp up and get angry, and I think I did a few jumping jacks to kind of get my blood flowing, and then just went at it. But I wasn't able to freeform and just like destroy as I wanted to. I had to actually follow a pattern, so everything that you see me do was carefully mapped out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Julia, and today is my birthday, and my sister.
Happy birthday.
As well. Thank you. And we are from Brazil, and this convention is actually our birthday present, and I just want to thank you for making this the best birthday ever, so thank you. And my question is, what is your trick for both of you to make all those emotional scenes so real, like crying and being so angry, and what is your trick?
Happy birthday, Julia.
Thank you.
It could be a language barrier thing, but I try not to use the word trick. I more think of it as I had this conversation the other day. It made me laugh because they were like, I met somebody who found out I was an actor, and they were unfamiliar with the show, but they said, "You must be a really good liar then." And I was like, it wasn't offensive. They were just kind of making a comment, right? And I was like, you know what? I probably am. I'd rather not find out, but I feel...
I am not, for those who ask my wife.
Yeah.
I'm awful.
Oh, well, yeah. For me, it's not about lying. It's about telling the truth. It's just somebody else's truth. So I feel like after 12 plus years of knowing Sam and having spent a lot of time with Sam, I'm able to help him tell his truth and go through what he's going through. And everybody has their own method, but like when I'm acting between action and cut, I've already done the work. Like the reason I'm able to have such a good time on set, and I think it's pretty well known that we all like to horse around on set, is because my work was done months ago, so I'm able to let it swim around in my psychology, I suppose, and then when they call action, able to break into what I'm doing. And I feel like I know Sam pretty well. I spent a lot of time with the guy. I like him. His hair is so great.
Did you say gray?
Gray.
Yeah.
Gray. So yeah, I feel like it's. I can see you on the screen. So That's where I come from. Senor Ackles.
I like to use tricks. Call them tricks of the trade.
Pinch
really.
myself when I have to cry.
Yeah. It's you know, I'll step on my toe if I've got to get really upset about something. I'll just pinch my side if I've got to. Not pinch and roll, just pinch. No, serious. In all seriousness, I mean, like he said, I'll touch on what he said about being on this. We've known these characters for so long. We've been on this journey with these characters for so long. Maybe in the earlier seasons, or even like the earlier episodes of the series, maybe we had to dive into something personal to get an emotion to use for our character. We don't have to do that anymore. Because we've lived with these characters for so long, we're so close to this story, and we're so close to the emotions of what this character. When I watch mine or his performance on the TV, and it's an emotional scene, I get emotional because 2 reasons. One, I remember how I was feeling in that moment, and it touches because you don't forget that when you get emotional about something, your body reacts as though it's real. Your brain knows that it's make-believe, but your body is reacting as though it's real. And so that kind of leaves a little mark on yourself. So when you see it again for the first time, it kind of touches that again. Also, I love this character. I love these characters. I love this story. I love this relationship between all of these characters. And so if they're going through something, I feel that. And that's kind of what we do, is we just allow the story and allow the emotion of the character to kind of do its thing. And he has a little different kind of prep method than I do. He reads and over and over and over, and kind of gets it all down pat before he shows up. I'm more of I just kind of read it the night before, so that the instincts and my immediate thoughts about what I'm reading are fresh, and then I just immediately use that. So it has a very similar end result, but it's a very different preparation, and I can appreciate them both.
Ironically, it's very similar to our characters. I feel like Sam researches and goes intellectual about it and thinks it over, and Dean is more like, instinctual, off the cuff. So it's kind of the yin and the yang, and why they make a good team. Thanks, Julia. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi there.
My name's Donna. I was wondering what it was like to work with Kim Manners, especially what he brought to Supernatural coming from a show like X-Files.
Kim Manners was, for those of you who may not know, most of you probably do, but he was our kind of live-in executive producer / director for the first 4 years of the show. And I would say I could sit here for an hour, a day, a week, and talk about the magnitude of that man, which was funny because he was about this big. But I'll say this very quickly, and I'll let Jared touch on it. He put us on a path to succeed, and we've been continually honoring him in that regard, I think, ever since.
Yeah, he was a force, and Jensen's not kidding. He's maybe 5'3", 5'4", but he was so beloved by everybody. And when we met him, he was a guest director that was coming up for one episode. I think they had begged him to come out of retirement. He had driven up and brought his dog, and on the drive back, they asked him to come back and be a producer. But he walked up onto our set, and he hadn't been to Canada in 5-10 years, and he'd see somebody across the parking lot and be like, "Hey, Dave, how's Debbie? And how's little Sawyer?" Like, he remembered these, like, he truly cared about everybody involved, whether you were the lowliest PA who was just paid by the hour, or the most prestigious writer-director. He treated you like a human being. He didn't treat you any better or worse because of what your job or occupation was, or net worth, or anything. He also was the one who famously told us, you know, I spend more time with you guys than I do my wife, my kids, my dog. So if I'm not having a good time, then what's the point? You know, we're not curing cancer. We're just making a TV show. So I think he really set the tone for why we're still able to go after 13 years, or in our 13th and counting, to have a good time, like to enjoy what we're doing and not take ourselves too seriously. You know, we're telling stories we're passionate about, but at the end of the day, we're telling stories. And we have our own community and our family, but there's no point in letting it get you down when you're stressed out. So, yeah, rest in peace. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Brittany. My question is, I know you guys don't have a lot of free time to watch television and movies and stuff, especially.
What's that word mean?
But being,
It's 2 words.
I'll take your word for it.
But being actors, and then Jensen especially with having done some directing that, and then with your wives being actresses as well, when you guys do get a chance to watch a television show or a movie, when you do get a chance to watch a television show or a movie, are you able to just, like, we all watch this show because it's, for me anyways, it's the way to, like, unwind and, like, detox from my day sometimes. Can you do that, or do you find yourselves, like, picking apart, like going, oh, I would have done this scene differently, or...
You mean when we watch
when
our,
you're watching,
our
no,
show
when
or
you're
other
watching,
shows?
No, when you're watching other shows or movies that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I pick it apart. It makes me more critical in some ways, and it makes me, I feel like I can get enjoyment from a TV show that people who haven't been in the business might not. You know, I appreciate long shots that go a long time without cutting, or the nuances of a great performance, or the way the score is used, or the lack of a score that is more part of the painting for somebody who's walking through a museum. But as a fellow artist, I go like, oh wow, I can't believe they put on caustic wax next to the watercolor, and how do they use this? You know, I don't have that with paintings. I have that with... Do you smell toast? I feel it's a funny... It's not toast. I feel like I'm both more critical and less critical. I feel like I can be more critical and enjoy it more at the same time. But yeah, I feel like I love film. I love TV. I love movies. So I spend my life doing it, and it can get tedious. But I love storytelling, and I appreciate a story that's been told super well.
Yeah, it is. It's still an escape, and even though we work in film and television, and we're on set all the time, and we're creating these stories that get told on television, we still utilize other shows for an escape as well. And granted, not a lot of them. I have to kind of pick and choose, but I'm very excited about Stranger Things.
If they can get Charlie back in the USA to film. There was a little accident. Someone got sent back to the UK. No, y'all will read about it later.
But it still gets released today, or is it yesterday?
But they're filming 3, though.
It was
Are they
Friday.
filming 3?
I've been
the premiere
here,
was
all right?
yesterday, you're right.
I have responsibilities. Yeah, so I'll probably watch that this week, and that'll be a nice escape for me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey guys, I'm Heather. I'm from Colorado.
If your name really is Heather and from Colorado, why did you have to read it off your phone?
I didn't. I was looking at my phone.
My name is Heather, and I'm from Colorado.
Okay, I got your number.
Shoot me a text.
Okay, blowing
me up already. All right, I like it.
It's a gif of you.
There it is. It's
No.
Heather from Colorado.
As a mother to 2 little girls, I have a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. We try to instill in our children important thinking in our house, like critical thinking skills. And I live depression and anxiety. Their father, my husband, he's 100% disabled, VA veteran, Marine. So he's awesome. He has PTSD and a traumatic brain injury, depression, anxiety, a whole laundry list of things. As parents who struggle with mental illness, we show our kids that there's zero shame in seeking help. Even my 4-year-old goes to therapy. It's awesome. Is there something you want to is that something you want to convey to your children, or do you have any other lessons that you think are important to their growth?
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, on you and your husband and your kids. It sounds like y'all are kicking ass and fighting the good fight.
Thank you.
We do take our kids to child therapists, and we also, Jen and I, go have meetings with a psychiatrist who specializes in teaching parents how to parent better. Especially because our situation is really difficult. Daddy's not around a whole lot, and that's difficult to explain to a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old in our case. Odette's still probably too young to really gather too much of it. So just trying to figure out how to do the best we can. Yeah, but kindness, decency, I think is a good starting spot. Respect. So yeah, I certainly didn't go into parenthood with a blindfold, thinking like, oh, this will be fun, it'll be great. I knew it was a huge responsibility and the biggest responsibility I'd ever have. And it's proven to be indeed more difficult than I even imagined, though I didn't take it lightly beforehand. So yeah, I take it very seriously. I think it's my most important job, is making sure, being part of the collage that makes sure those kids turn out to be decent people.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think as far as mental illness goes, that's the way that our culture now looks at it is completely different than just when we were kids. And I think it's a great thing, because I think we have a better handle on what it is. There are new ways of dealing with it. And I think that it's important to teach our children that that person is not just crazy, or that person, there's not something wrong with that person. They're suffering for something, and they're battling it, as opposed to writing them off and thinking that they're odd or different. I think acceptance is one of the biggest rules that I will be teaching in my home. And I think the one lesson, and I know you were asking what one lesson. The biggest lesson for me is that I want to make sure that my children, A, feel love and give love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm Alicia from Texas. And this is a two-parter. First, I want to know if you have any single friends. Hey.
Actually, no, I can't think of anybody.
Damn. Okay. So I was actually wondering, Jared mentioned earlier the GIF or the meme of the many hairstyles of Sam Winchester, and it kind of had me wondering what GIFs or memes that you send each other or that you like to get.
I'll say this. I've said this before. I don't know
You
if I
should
said
say
in
it
public.
again.
I should say it again. The single best part of being a celebrity is being able to use GIFs of yourself to send to your friends who aren't celebrities. I mean it. All the other accolades are worth nothing. I've sent the L'Oreal commercial
That's a good one.
to everybody I know. And there's another one where I'm like, doing something, and I'm like, hee 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 hee. So most of my, is it GIF or GIF?
It's GIF.
Okay.
Every time you ask that question,
it changes.
It's
Sometimes
the
people say
same
GIF.
answer.
GIF.
Every time.
It'll develop. What does it stand for? Graphic
image
interface?
format. Graphic
Graphic
image format.
interface file.
So GIF.
Sure.
Okay, so whenever I send...
GIF is peanut butter.
Jiffy.
And GIF is the little thing on your phone.
My point is, whenever I send a graphic interface file, I try to make sure to... In fact, the other day, Spate texted us about something, and I hit him back with a Trickster graphic interface file.
Yeah.
And his response was like, ha, well done, I hadn't seen that one. I was like, it's fun. So, yes, tons of them.
Now I have a question for
This
some
one?
of you tech-savvy folks out there. With the GIFs, do they start to learn what you like to use and give you suggestions that are tailored more towards your usage? Have they always done that, or was that since the very beginning? They just started doing that, right? So in the beginning, there was a lot of Supernatural. And I was stoked. And I was thinking like, well, it must be because everybody's using them. We're really popular. This is better than I thought.
We're kind of a big deal.
We're kind of a big deal. And stop calling it GIF.
Graphic interface file.
Yes, I will say that Jared and I both get we get a lot of pleasure out of text battling our friends with our own GIFs. It's amazing.
And it never ceases to piss them off, which makes it even better.
Oh, yeah.
So then they're like, that's not fair, that's not fair. Like, use your own.
I don't want my buddy to just go, I'm not talking to you anymore. Yeah.
Removing themselves from threads. Yeah. If it's out there, if it's a Sam and or Dean GIF.
There you go.
He can be taught.
And it's... You gotta throw me a fish. I've probably used it.
Okay. Awesome.
What's your favorite GIF?
I use a lot the Crowley one that says, I torture all my friends, it's how I show love.
What does that say about you? I like it.
Call me.
Say that. She said single friends.
Text me.
Single friends.
Colorado has my number.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey, how are y'all? Y'all's characters listen to a lot of classical rock. Do you guys listen to that as well? Not your characters, you.
Yes. I have a very, very wide spectrum of musical taste. Ask anybody that has been forced to listen to my playlists. I have been listening to here's the thing, classic rock now is like Nirvana. I'm like, wait a minute. But, so anyway, in my book, classic rock is 60s, 70s rock and roll.
But late 60s, because early 60s was like Del
late
Shannon.
60s, 70s rock and roll. And so I've been listening to that since I was in high school. And I
So basically
still do.
It was basically...
I named my kid Zeppelin.
Because if you were in high school, in 95? And you were listening to classic rock from, let's say, 1970, then it was music was 25 years old.
Yes, that's
so
my
now
point.
music from like the mid-90s.
The 90s.
Like
Yes.
Crisscross. And like, Who Let the Dogs Out is classic rock now. Honestly.
I Like Big Butts is classic rock.
He does. It's just called Baby Got Back, not I Like Big Butts.
No, that was the remix.
I cannot lie. I like big butts.
I like big butts.
And the song Baby Got Back.
And then that other Sir Mix-a-Lot thing. All right.
Yes.
I will say that there would be a lot more music on the show, but music is very expensive these days. In fact, you probably know that we've never had a Led Zeppelin song on the show. We've never had a ZZ Top song on the show. We've just recently gotten Metallica. And it wasn't lack for trying. Like, we've been trying to get a Metallica song on our show since day one. And it's just recently that they were like, those guys are still on the air? All right, they're cool. And they basically were like, okay, you guys, we showed them the sizzle reel that was cut together that we wanted to put the song to, which was kind of the recap that they do at the beginning of the show. There was a big one that was done for a Comic-Con this past year. And they let us use their music for that, so that was pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing else matters?
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Misty. And I have a Misty.
Hi, Misty.
And I have a question for both of y'all. How much of your personality have y'all put into your characters of Sam and Dean? And also, has your personalities of Sam and Dean ever came out in different situations?
I have put everything I have into Sam. Honestly, I... What? Hey. That's too graphic of an interface to talk about. What I'm trying to say is I've given everything I have to give to my performance as Sam Winchester. And indubitably, Sam has taught me a lot, both in watching him persevere, and just literally in the reading and the researching of things we do on Supernatural and my desire to learn more about it. But there hasn't been a constant, like it's difficult to try and think who I would be if Supernatural never existed. So I don't have a way to compare who I would have been with who I am. But with the help from y'all guys and Sam Winchester, I'm reasonably happy with who I'm becoming.
Okay. That's nice.
Did you say indubitably?
Indubitably, I did.
We've talked about this.
Not in front of my friends, Jensen.
You're embarrassing me. I would say that, and I've said this before, in the beginning of the show, there was probably a much closer connection between myself and the character. As the show has gone on through the years, the character has developed into, its own kind of entity. Squirrel! Do you like that one? Don't give me a courtesy laugh. So over the years, I think, there's been a little bit more of a separation, but there is always a base of who I am that Dean was created upon. And yes, there are times in my life when that part that belongs to Dean is still in me, and it comes out sometimes. And or sometimes I just say, you know what? What would Dean do?
Okay.
And it's helped me through sometimes.
I bet.
Yeah. But it is certainly my my most favorite make-believe character I've ever had in my life.
Okay, thank you.
Can you say that without any dubits?
Undoubtedly.
Okay, great. Thank you, Misty.
name is Courtney, and I have my question is, since we know that Dean's position on Jack is going to change, will Sam's change eventually, or is he always going to be Jack to be
Ooh,
saved?
that's a great question.
The old flipperoo. No, the old switcheroo. That's what.
Switcheroo. Well, shifted.
No, I'm just. Well, sidebar. Our dear beloved director, Bob Singer, he's such a master craftsman at directing that he preps all of his stuff pretty much up here, whereas others that direct, i.e. myself, have this giant roadmap that we've created, and we've listed every shot, and we've written out all the movements of the characters and the cameras and what the lenses we want to use and how. And it's just, I mean, if I was to keel over, somebody could literally just pick up my binder and keep going and shoot the show that I wanted to shoot. With Bob, you open up his script, and there's nothing. And it just, out to the side, written in very small writing, because that's how it is, it just says, the old switcheroo. Which was the only note that he needed to tell himself about what he wanted to do in that scene. And I still have no idea what he was talking about. So anyway, getting back to will Sam's
position on Jack change? So I think Sam right now, his position on Jack is almost tied in on his position with himself. He wants to believe that Jack can be good, just like he wants to believe, and he believes that he can be good. And so I hope Sam's position does not change, but I will offer that I think Sam is, I don't know if we know exactly what Sam's position truly is. I think he is choosing to remain the optimist and try and, he needs Jack to be good because he needs himself to be good, like we saw in the end of last episode.
I know, dude.
I agree.
I know.
Squirrel! So I feel like I feel like Sam's true position will be revealed sometime this year.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joe. I was at the Supernatural Convention in Chicago 2 years ago, and at Robert Singer's panel, there was a question about like things that he wanted to do in the future maybe, and he mentioned that he would maybe like to do like a feature-length film in the future. Is that still like a possibility?
Of Supernatural?
Mm-hmm, like a movie.
That idea has been floated around quite a bit. I would say that it's certainly up for discussion, but as long as the show is still going, it's kind of, that's not really plausible.
Could that be like the grand finale of the whole thing, doing a movie?
It could be. It could be like once the TV series kind of comes to an end.
Once y'all stop watching.
Wait. And then we take
How dare you?
And then we take a few days off and start the feature film. And then after the feature film hits, then we start with the Supernatural redo. Redux.
Like Will and Grace from earlier. So somebody asked this question.
Which one are you in that scenario?
That's such a Samantha thing to say. We talked about it earlier, and she goes, like Will and Grace. I was like, Will and Grace, I think, just did another TV show. I would love the idea of doing a movie. You know what I would like more, because I think there's so much more to Supernatural than 2 hours, is I would love to do, I don't want to say a mini series, but like a shortened, like 10 episode movie kind of situation where we really delve into it as opposed to just trying to create a storyline, wrap it all up. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what the writers and the powers that be sort of allow to happen. I think, this is 2 years ago you were there?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot has changed in 2 years, believe it or not, with like Netflix, the way they air shows, the way they're creating shows, and the way you can just kind of jump in onto a show. I think TV, and maybe I'm being biased here, but I think TV has the power to be a lot more powerful than the movie because it's there, it's with you. And I even mentioned earlier, if we did do a movie, I would still want to not use foul language, just because I feel like we've gone by without it. Well, I know a lot of words that are longer than 4 letters, so. So we'll yes, best is a 4-letter word, B-E-S-T. Yes. Yeah, we'll see, Jordan. Thanks a bunch, man. Good to see you again.
That means it's that time where Rob and Rich come out and dance around the stage like morons.
It's the last question. It's the last question. It's the very last question. It's the last question. Well, it's the last question.
Is it the last question?
It's the last question.
Let's break it down for him.
It's the last question. There ain't no more. But it's the last question. We're wrapping it up. Oh, it's the very last question.
And she's the one.
It's the last question.
To bring down the house.
This is Jan.
Hi, how are you?
And her very first words were, "Oh my God, you cannot see anything."
Right, Jan?
Which is true. I can't see anything. She can't see anything. All right, so Jan, this is the very last question. So say hi to your supernatural family out there. And this better be damn good. Just kidding, whatever, don't mess it up. Just kidding, don't mess it.
Well, it has to do with baby, so it's probably okay. So we all probably know how Dean and Mary feel about the scene where she saw baby again for the first time. How was that for Jensen and Sam to shoot?
For Jensen and Sam? Or Dean and Sam?
No.
Samantha. Oh, I was like, that's a weird.
Your mother.
You personally and his character. Okay. Curveball.
High five, Jan.
It was, well, that particular scene took on a bit of a tone that wasn't in the script. It was all
for Dean or Jared.
And it was. I give all credit to Phil, our director. He came up with the idea. He's like, "Hey, what if she looked in the back seat and looked at it upon the back seat with these very fond eyes and memories?" Dean then catching that, going, "Oh my God." So that was not scripted at all, and when Phil pitched the idea to Samantha and myself, we loved it, and so we ended up doing it. And they used it, and there you go. I think it was a nice little nugget there in the scene. Yeah, very cool.
Great question, Jan.
Thank you.
That was the last question.
That was it, Robbie.
That was the very last question.
Damn right it was.
That was the last question. That was the last question.
That was it. That was the last question.
Last question.
You know what it was?
It was the last question.
And that is it.
It was the last question.
There ain't no more.
It was the very last question.
No more for you.
It was the last question.
That's all she wrote. Good people of New Orleans, Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
Here I go again on my own. Just no road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone. But I made up my mind.
Making decisions, Bobo. That's good.
I ain't wasting no more time.
No, sir.
Just another heart in need of rescue.
I got you, buddy.
waiting on love, sweet charity.
Here's $5.
And I'm gonna hold on the rest of my days. And I know what it means. Walk alone, lonely city. Here I go again on my own.
Solo Bobo.
Going down the only road I've ever known.
That's weird, you only know one road.
Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone.
Drifters can't have friends?
But I made up my mind.
Finally.
I ain't wasting no more time.
Thank you, New Orleans. This has been awesome. We appreciate you guys for coming out and hanging out. Love y'all.
There they go, everybody! Jared and Jensen. Robbie, so magical.
So magical.
My gosh. Never gets old.
It smells like perfection up here.
Oh my God. If we could harness this scent, we could power the town.
If I could just borrow 1 inch of height. You know what I mean?
You know what? He wouldn't miss it.
He wouldn't miss it. It would change my life.
He could still reach those coffee mugs.
If this was Rob Benedict.
You know what? Suddenly I respect you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For a split second there. Well done, everybody. Most of you survived. Hopefully your heart palpitations won't incapacitate you for the rest of the day. Good stuff, everybody, huh? How about those guys? Well done. Well, there's plenty more to come. You got Ruth Connell has a panel today. There's a panel featuring Rob Benedict and Richard Speight. Ooh.
Kings of Con panel.
We haven't seen enough of those two. I can't wait for them to come out here and answer
Don't forget
questions.
the people that just arrived on Sunday who are like, who the hell are those jokers?
I'm not speaking to them. I'm kidding. Welcome to the show. All right, everybody. So get ready. The show's still going on. We got more to do here. We'll see you in a little bit.